In this video, I'll discuss a bit about creating or obtaining graphics for your games. As we've discussed, game graphics can be categorized as 2D or 3D graphics. We can further subcategorize 2D graphics into 2D texture maps for use with 3D models, user interface or UI elements for creating interface in our games, and 2D sprites for creating 2D characters or props for 2D games. In terms of 3D graphics, we typically are talking about 3D models or 3D meshes, UV mapping information, which describes how a 2D texture maps onto a 3D surface, a rig structure or skeleton for controlling the model, and animation information. There are many 2D bitmap tools available. Adobe Photoshop is probably the most used bitmap graphics tool used in industry. Both Photoshop and GIMP are great general-purpose graphics tools. These tools can be used to create or edit all types of 2D bitmap elements. You may also use them to convert graphics between file formats. Corel Painter and Krita are used more for digital painting. They borrow concepts from traditional non-digital art like paintbrushes, oil paints, and chalk and bring it into the digital realm for digital art creation. There are also many 2D vector creation tools. Adobe Illustrator is probably the most used vector tool, but there are many other options, including Inkscape, which is open source and free. In terms of 3D graphics tools, Maya, 3ds Max, and ZBrush are the most used 3D graphics tools in the game industry. However, there are many great 3D tools out there, including Blender, which is open source and free. Creating art is outside the scope of this course. However, I expect most of you have some experience creating and editing graphics. I do think it's important for everyone, including programmers, to have knowledge of computer graphics creation so that they can communicate with others on the team about graphics and create, at the very least, placeholder graphics, or as they say, programmer art, until the final production art can be integrated into the game. There are many great resources available to find royalty-free, Creative Commons licensed, or purchasable graphics files. Here are just a few that I have found useful in the past. I've included a document with live links to these resources and more. Feel free to post resources that you've found in the online discussion. In the next video, we'll discuss game audio concepts.